Alright, so hello everyone. My name is Clavel Martin B. Dullesco, taking Master of Arts and Education major in English Studies and Instruction. I am been living and working here in Vietnam for more than 6 years. I'm a part-time university lecturer and a full-time primary teacher in Hanoi. And today I will be presenting my thesis, which is entitled The Perception of University English Students on Google Translate Technology. Alright, so having spent more than 6 years working here in Vietnam, I've witnessed firsthand the country's commitment when it comes to education. So it's evident on their substantial investment and the quality of education that they provide, and also with the opportunity that they give to foreign and international teacher like me. This is in line to their visions of creating graduates or Vietnamese graduates that are highly competitive or globally competitive, thus seeing English as, or being proficient in English as a vital tool for international competitiveness. However, despite the great effort that they are giving, language acquisition here, it still remains a great challenge for them. So as a result, most of the students, they cling on to technology. They ask help from technology. They have their best friend, especially when it comes to learning English, which is Google Translate. So in this technology of machine translation, it helps them a lot in their academic studies. So basically, the rationale of this research lies in the landscape of the evolving educational technology, specifically the pervasive use of Google Translate among university students in their studies. So understanding the implication of this tool on the students' academic performance or academic studies, it's crucial in this digital eras of learning language. Now, to begin with, to start, we have here our statement of the problems and our hypothesis. The first one is, what is the profile of our respondents in terms of age, gender, year of study, and major? So what are the scores of the respondents in survey measuring their perception regarding the use of Google Translate in their studies? The third one, what are the scores of the respondents in a survey measuring their frequency of Google Translate use? The fourth one, is there a significant difference in the respondents' perception of Google Translate among university students and the respondents' frequency of use of Google Translate in their studies? And of course, the last one, what training program can be recommended based on the findings of the study? So our hypothesis, it's null. There is no significant difference in respondents' perception of Google Translate and on how frequently they use it in their studies. So for scope and limitations, scope included assessing the perception and frequency of use of Google Translate among university English students at FET University. Limitation involved potential biases and self-reported data and the focus in a single institution, which is FET University. So our theory and conceptual framework, the research is framed in or by consumer satisfaction theory, self-determination theory, social cognitive theory. So these theories right here emphasizes factors influencing students' satisfaction, their motivation, and habitual behavior in academic settings, particularly the use of Google Translate. The conceptual framework, on the other hand, aims to understand the experiences and perspectives of university English students on using Google Translate in academic tasks. Now let's move on. So here it is. The students are divided into 4 majors. The communication technology major, business management major, IT, and the language major. So from there, they will be, after answering the demographic questions, they will have another questionnaire that will ask them about their perception on Google Translate. And of course, after that, the frequency of Google Translate usage. Now the researcher gather the data and the findings and then come up with a proposed training program, conclusions, and recommendations. So research design. So the research design is non-experimental correlational and descriptive design aimed to analyze the relationship between students' perception and their frequency of usage of Google Translate in their studies. So here we go for the locale of the study. It's FPT University. It's one of the biggest university here in Vietnam, and we have the main campus right over here. The students or the participants are coming from first year and second years, most of them, although there is one option for third year student. This is for the repeaters because again, the study program is quite advanced and difficult for them. That's why we give one option for third year students. Study program, of course, are transition. These are TRS levels. They're academic English subjects. Now, participants are transition levels at FPT University. In one class, there's an average of 25 to 30 students. Parameters so these are the specific textbooks and online platforms for English studies. So these are the following parameters. That's why we pick this transitional level as our respondents. First, we have the University Success Oral Communication, followed by TRS 5, which is Advanced Reading, and then we have the TRS 6 book, which is Advanced Reading and Writing. And of course, they also have their online application where they answer the questions related to their activities from the book. And also we have the Pearson My English Lab right over here where they can practice, review, and the materials online. So these parameters right over here are highly academic and requires advanced level of vocabulary. That's why most of the students, majority of the university students struggle to comprehend the topics from this book. The instrument that we use, so we are utilizing, or the researcher utilized two Likert scale questionnaires via Google form. So one assesses the student's perspectives while the other evaluates the frequency of usage and extent of Google Translate usage of for academic purposes. So our Likert scale, if you can see in our Appendix A, they were translated in Vietnamese, ensuring the validity and reliability of the data collection process. Because when we translate the questionnaires into their native language, we can provide the respondents can provide, or we can ensure that all participants fully understand the questions. It also increases response accuracy because when the respondents can read and understand and answer the questions in their first language, which is Vietnamese, they are more likely to provide precise and thoughtful responses. Method of analysis, right over here. So we are using the following measures: weighted mean, average weighted mean, weighted variance, and standard deviation, or weighted standard deviation rather. Now for hypothesis testing to compare scores in perception and frequency of usage across university students, we are using the Z testing. The researcher used the Z testing. Alright, so for data analysis and procedure, step 1 is through Google Form. So we utilize Google Form due to its efficient distribution, quick data gathering, and automatic results. So if you may refer to Appendix D, you can see there the system-generated responses coming from the respondents. So once they complete the questionnaires, Google Form will generate the data and then will provide you with complete graph and diagrams. So this one is very convenient, particularly or effective, particularly in large-scale academic setting like FPT University. So we have 300 respondents. The second step is for the data and for our interpretation. So the data, we use weighted mean to assess the importance of different survey questions. And we also use the weighted average mean to sum up the perception across various students. And of course, standard deviation to reveal the variability in perceptions among our students. Now, once we have the following data right here, we will use them to answer our SOP2, Statement of the Problem 2, and Statement of the Problem 3, as well as 4 later. So, to make decisions and interpretation, we use the available findings to assess the general average opinion of the respondents. This is according to Dr. Coley. And of course, to see the variability, the agreement and disagreement, and for easy categorization of sentiments as either positive or negative. Now, after that, we have the hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing was conducted using the z-test, which is based on Carl Friedrich Gauss principle. So the statistical test here was, we took the difference between the weighted mean and the average mean to determine the significant differences between the university's perception and frequency of usage of Google Translate. After that, after the findings or the data that we have, we use the findings to propose or to figure out a proposed training program, come up with conclusions and recommendations. Here we go. So for our first statement of problem, what is the profile of the respondents in terms of the following? First, age, year of study, major, and English program, the last one. So for age, majority of the students who participated, they are between 18 to 20 years old, and then a very small fraction of under 18, only 2 respondents. Now, in terms of year of study, majority of the students also are first year, 200 respondents from our 300 respondents. Now, a very small fraction of only 3 are third-year students. I think these are the repeaters. Next, we have in terms of major, most of the students who participated are coming from IT or engineering, followed by the business management right here, which is 23%. Now, what is the subjects? What are the subjects that most of the students or the respondents are taking? So we have here almost the same. We have TRS 5, the highest, and followed by TRS 6, I think slightly difference of 7.3%. So, and of course the lowest participants are coming from TRS 4 or the one taking oral communication, only 38 respondents from 300. Now for our SOP2, what are the scores of the respondents in a survey measuring their perception regarding the usage of Google Translate in their studies? So these are the following results. Now let's try to interpret them. From P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, and 10, we have here strong positive views when it comes to English language materials, understanding the textbooks, and writing tasks. So you can see that on our table 1.2. Statements, on the other hand, statements P7, P8, and P9, we have neutral stands here when it comes to My English Lab application, recommendation to peers, and academic performance. I think this is due to the complexity of the language. SOP3, what are the scores of the respondents in a survey measuring their frequency of Google Translate usage in their studies? Now you can see here the result on table 2.1. So let's try to see. From F1 to F10, majority of them, F1 are that we interpret it as sometimes. They use Google Translate on sometimes basis. Statements F1, F2, F3, F7, and F9, and F10, high frequency when it comes to book tasks, assignments, translating docs, and English comprehension. Now, on the other hand, we have the lower frequency coming from statement 4. F4 here refers to statements. Statement 5, 6, 7, and 8 when it comes to using EduNex, the EduNex application or communication, and also with communicating with English speaking peers like teachers. Statement 7 and 8 also shows high variability responses. Now, the last one, this is the fourth statement of the problem. Is there a significant difference in the respondents' perception and frequency of usage? Now, in assessing the difference in perception among university students regarding the use of Google Translate, a detailed analysis was conducted using z-test at a 95% confidence interval, critical value of 1.96. So we use the weighted mean of frequency from table 4.8 from our previous table, and the average weighted mean of perception from table 4.6, and then the result is 0.63 difference, and that difference provided as a z-score of 7.67. So the result of 7.67, it's far beyond the typical value of, or the critical value of 1.96, indicating that the difference between the means is statistically significant. Now, using the findings that we have, we come up with a proposed training program entitled Enhancing the Use of Google Translate and Developing Offline Translation Tools for Academic Success. So this one is good opportunity for our students who are mostly, engineering or IT. Participants are, of course, FPT University students, resource persons or speakers are experienced faculty members from the IT and English departments. And we also have external experts in translation, technology, and software development. So venue is the main campus of FPT in Hanoi. When? Week after the end of the semester. Number of days, it's a training program. It will be a 4-day intensive training held over 1 week. All right, now let's go to the summary of our findings. Respondents are predominantly young, mostly between the age of 21 to 23, primarily first-year students coming from IT or engineering major engaged in advanced English reading and writing programs. So the data provides comprehensive view of the tool's perceived utility and effectiveness among university students. The study surveyed how frequently they use Google Translate for tasks such as understanding educational content, translating assignments, clarifying complex phrases, and more. And for one, detailed summary analysis was conducted using z-test at 95% confidence interval to show the significant difference. And the last one, a training program on the aspects of Google Translate was proposed, entitled Enhancing the Use of Google Translate and Developing Offline Translation Tools for Academic Success. So our conclusion, respondents are again predominantly first-year students from IT or engineering, and mostly coming from IT or engineering department and business management. Survey results indicate a generally positive perception of Google Translate, though there are neutrality and criticism concerning its impact on some areas. Students frequently use Google Translate on a sometimes basis. The Z-score also exceeded the critical value, indicating a significant difference between the students' perception and frequency of usage. And of course, the last one, a comprehensive training program on the use of Google Translate has been proposed to enhance the application's utility. For recommendations, we have 8 develop specialized English language courses, equip students with the knowledge and skills to use Google Translate, provide structured training and resources about the appropriate use of Google Translate, encourage faculty to integrate discussions, establish a comprehensive training program, advocate for the development of pedagogical work, dig deeper into the long-term impacts of using digital translation tools on language proficiency, and of course, develop guidelines and support system for the effective integration of digital tools into the curriculum of the students. So that ends my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful